I woke up choking on my own scream, the metallic tang of blood still fresh in my mouth from the pills I'd swallowed 2 years ago. Or was it yesterday? The noose of betrayal hadn't loosened. It had reset, yanking me back to that godforsaken Zoom call in March 2020, where my boss's face filled the screen like a bloated moon, declaring me non-essential, with the casual cruelty of someone swatting a fly. Elizabeth Harper, RN, certified in emergency care, reduced to a glitch in the system. My life unraveling thread by thread as the world locked down and my world locked me out. The betrayal hit harder than the overdose. My fiancé, Mark, charming Mark with his corner office smile and whispered promises, hadn't just left me twisting in the wind. He twisted the knife deeper, selling my patient records to Big Pharma for a fat bonus while I spiraled into debt and despair. I'd found the emails too late, buried in his laptop after he'd ghosted me for space, his new girlfriend already posting selfies from our old apartment. The pills were mercy. The void was justice. Or so I'd thought. Now, here I was, heart pounding in a body that felt too young, too alive, staring at my reflection in the cracked bathroom mirror of my pre-pandemic studio in Brooklyn, 28 again, eyes wide with the ghost of what I'd become. But ghosts don't get second chances without a price. As the first sirens wailed outside, early COVID alerts blaring from every TV, I gripped the sink, knuckles white. This time, I wouldn't beg for scraps. This time, I'd burn it all down, starting with the man who'd lit the match. The coffee burned my tongue, but it was the only thing grounding me in this recycle hell. March 12th, 2020. I'd marked it in red ink on my planner back then, the day the world tilted. Now, I sat in the same dingy diner off Flatbush Avenue, the vinyl booths cracked like old skin, watching the news ticker crawl across the bottom of the screen. Who declares pandemic? Borders closing. My phone buzzed. Mark, right on cue. Hey babe, rough day at the office. Dinner later? His texts were always like that, laced with just enough affection to keep the hook in. I typed back, fingers trembling not from fear but fury. Sure. Pick up tie. It was the script, word for word, the prelude to the fight that would end with me alone, sobbing over eviction notices. But this time I wouldn't cry. I'd collect receipts. Work that morning was a ghost shift at Brooklyn Methodist, the ER humming with the low panic of incoming cases. Flu season bleeding into something uglier, whispers of a novel virus slithering through the vents. My supervisor, Carla Ruiz, sharp-eyed Carla with her clipboard and corner office dreams, barked orders like she was captaining the Titanic. Harper, you're on overflow. And keep it tight. Admin's breathing down my neck about overtime. I nodded, slipping into scrubs that still smelled like fresh bleach, the fabric hugging my frame like an old friend. Back then, I'd loved this chaos, the adrenaline rush of stitching wounds, the quiet heroism of holding hands through the worst nights. Elizabeth Harper, the girl from Scranton who'd clawed her way to the city on scholarships and spite, thinking nursing was her ticket out of invisibility. What a joke. By noon, the memos started flooding in. Essential personnel only. Carla's voice crackled over the intercom during lunch, her tone all business, no bite. Nurses on non-critical wards, stand by for reassignment. We're prioritizing. I shoveled down a protein bar in the break room, scrolling Mark's Instagram, him at some rooftop mixer last night, arm around a brunette who wasn't me. The caption, living the dream. Hustle hard. Hustle hard into someone else's bed, you prick. The call came at 2:17 p.m. I was elbow deep in charting when my cell lit up. Unknown. But I knew. Carla's extension. Elizabeth? It's Ruiz. Listen, this COVID thing. It's escalating. We've got to make cuts. You're furloughed. Effective immediately. Admin's orders. The words landed like a sucker punch. Furloughed. Non-essential. Me with 5 years in trauma, certifications up the wazoo, suddenly a luxury item. What? Carla, I can pivot, put me on vents, isolation protocols. I'm trained. Can't, Liz. It's not personal. It's the numbers. Her voice cracked, just a hair, The tale of a woman who'd fought for her spot and wouldn't risk it for mine. File for unemployment. Will call when things stabilize. Stabilize. The word echoed as I stripped off my scrubs in the locker room, the fluorescent buzz mocking my reflection. Stripped bare, just like that. I drove home in a daze, the city already feeling smaller, streets emptying like veins draining blood. Mark was waiting on the couch when I burst in, his tie loosened, a beer sweating on the coffee table. "Babe, what's wrong?" He stood, all concern, but his eyes flicked to his phone. Always to his phone. I collapsed beside him, the story spilling out in sobs I couldn't fake this time. Not entirely. They cut me, said I'm not essential. The word tasted like ash. His arm draped over my shoulders, heavy with false comfort. "Shit, Liz. That's bullshit. You're the strongest person I know. We'll figure it out." He kissed my temple, and I let him, memorizing the scent of his cologne, something I'd once loved, now just a marker for the lie. That night, over lukewarm pad thai, he dropped the bomb. "Hey, speaking of work, got a lead on something big. Farmer rep gig remote. Pays double what I make now." His grin was boyish, excited. "Involves data analysis, patient outcomes." Nothing shady. Patient outcomes. My gut twisted, the first thread pulling loose. I'd seen the emails in my old life, after the pills, when I'd hacked his accounts in a final, vengeful haze. Data sharing partnerships. He'd uploaded anonymized records from my ward, scrubbed just enough to skirt HIPAA, sold to trial recruiters for vaccine fast tracks. My patients, real people, their cancers and car crashes commodified for his climb. I smiled then, forking noodles like it was just dinner. "Sounds great, Mark. Tell me more." He did, rambling about disruptors and the future of health tech, his hand on my knee like he owned it. I nodded, filed it away. Revenge wasn't a sprint, it was a scalpel, precise and deep. The weeks blurred into lockdown limbo. Unemployment checks trickled in, but rent clawed them away. Protests erupted outside. Masks versus freedom, science versus suspicion. Brooklyn's stoops turning into battlegrounds of bumper stickers and bullhorns. I joined the online forums at first, desperate for solidarity. Nurses united, essential workers rising. But the cracks showed quick. Moderators silencing anti-vax rants, admins banning anyone questioning mandates. Unity, they preached, while pharma ads blanketed the feeds. Mark's gig boomed. He worked from home. Our home, laptop glowing late into nights, calls with suits who sounded like they gargled whiskey and dollars. Yeah, the dataset's clean. High compliance rates. I'd eavesdrop from the kitchen, heart hammering, piecing the puzzle. He'd started before the furlough, using my access codes, stolen in a just-in-case moment he'd laughed off as romantic paranoia. One night, April 15th, I confronted the mirror again. Dark circles, the weight dropping off me like I was evaporating. The old Elizabeth would have raged, called HR, filed complaints. But the new one, the one who'd tasted oblivion, knew better. Complaints got buried. Bureaucracy was a meat grinder for the little guy. So I started digging. Quietly. A burner email, VPN routed through Toronto. Public records requests to the hospital board, FOIAs to the FDA. Mark's company, Vertex Dynamics, popped up in SEC filings, a shadow player in the vaccine rush, backed by venture capital vultures. Their pitch? Accelerating trials through real-time data. Real-time, my ass. It was my patients, ghosts, and spreadsheets. The first crack came on a rainy Tuesday. I was scrolling dark web forums, places where whistleblowers whispered about data breaches, when a thread caught my eye. Pharma poach. Who's selling ER gold? Anonymous posts, redacted logs. One IP traced back to a Brooklyn high-rise. Mark's building. Our building. I printed it all, stashed in a fireproof box under the bed. Evidence, not emotion. That's what the dead learn. Feelings fade, but facts fester. By May, the city was a pressure cooker. Riots in the streets, not just over George Floyd, but the invisible chokehold of shutdowns. Small businesses shuttered, suicide spiking. Mine was climbing the charts in my head, a metronome to the news. Mark noticed, of course. "You're distant, Liz. Talk to me." We were on the fire escape, city lights smudged by humidity, his cigarette smoke curling like accusations. "It's everything," I said, truth wrapped in half-lie. "The job, the future. Feels like we're all just disposable." He stubbed the butt. "Pull me close." "Not us. We're building something real." His lips brushed mine, and for a second, I almost believed it, the muscle memory of love. But then his phone buzzed, a text from JD Vertex. "Need more Q2 polls. Bonus, if expedited." I pulled back, eyes locking on his. "What's that?" "Work stuff. Too quick, too smooth. Nothing you need to worry about." But I did worry. About the patients whose privacy he'd pimped. About Carla, who'd signed off on data partnerships in board minutes I'd FOIA'd. About the system that called me non-essential while profiting off my sweat. That night, as he slept, I slipped into his office. Our spare room. Now his kingdom of monitors and malice. Password: Liz Babe 2020. Pathetic. Folders labeled trials_archive. Zipped CSVs bursting with names, diagnoses, consent forms forged in haste. I copied it to a thumb drive, heart in my throat, the glow casting shadows like indictments. Dawn broke with a knock at the door. Not cops, worse. Carla, in street clothes, looking like she'd aged a decade. "Liz, can we talk?" We sat at the kitchen table, coffee going cold. I pushed back, she said, voice low. "Told admin you're gold, essential as they come." "But the board, they're in bed with Vertex. Your furlough?" It freed up bandwidth for their contributions. Contributions. Bribes dressed as donations. The pieces clicked. Hospital funding dried up. Pharma swoops in with strings attached. My data, my life, collateral. "Why tell me now?" I asked, calm as a scalpel. She glanced at the door, as if Mark might hear. "Because I saw the memos." "And because." "Guilt. Your family, Liz. Or were." Family. The word stung, a reminder of the betrayal I'd bottled. But I thanked her, saw her out, then locked the door. The drive burned in my pocket. First strike. The real hook sank in June, when the mandates hit. Masks everywhere, but the real chains were the shots. Rushed trials, emergency use, side effect blackouts in the fine print. Forums exploded. My arms on fire. Lost my job for refusing. I lurked, learned, the old Elizabeth's empathy twisting into something sharper. Mark's bonus check cleared, $50,000. He celebrated with champagne and that brunette's number in his deleted texts. I smiled through it, planned through the haze. Revenge wasn't poison, it was precision. I'd sue, not scream. I'd expose, not explode. By July, my fireproof box was a war chest, emails, logs, affidavits from ex-colleagues whispering off record. I lawyered up pro bono, ACLU type named Ravi, all fire and footnotes. "This is dynamite, Elizabeth. Data trafficking on this scale? It's RICO territory." RICO. Racketeer-influenced and corrupt organizations. The word tasted like victory, bitter and bold. But Mark? He was the linchpin, the mook in the machine. And as summer storms rolled in, soaking the city in sweat and secrets, I realized, to topple the tower, you start with the architect. August heat clung to Brooklyn like a bad divorce, the kind that leaves you sticky and second-guessing every choice. I'd moved out, sublet a shoebox in Bed-Stuy, cash under the table from a nurse friend who dodged the axe. Mark thought I needed space after a staged blowout over his overtime. "I get it, babe. The stress." His hug lingered too long, eyes searching for cracks. If only he knew the fissures ran to his core. Ravi's office was a fluorescent foxhole in Midtown, stacks of case law teetering like Jenga towers. "We've got cause," he said, pacing in loafers that squeaked on linoleum. "Breach of privacy, conspiracy to defraud. But we need a hook. Something public, splashy. The fines could cripple them." Finis. The word ignited something primal. In my old life, I'd faded quietly, pills muffling the roar. Now, I'd make them pay, hourly, publicly, until the world watched Vertex bleed green. We filed the class action prelims on a sticky Wednesday. Harper versus Vertex dynamics at all plaintiffs. Me and a dozen ghosts, patients whose data danced in Mark's spreadsheets, nurses like Carla who'd signed NDAs under duress. Allegations: systemic HIPAA violations, kickbacks to hospital admins, exploitation of a crisis for profit. Requested relief: injunction on trials, restitution, and punitive damages starting at $3 million per hour of noncompliance. The judge, a grizzled vet named Harlan Voss, set bailiff eyes on us at the hearing. "This is a circus waiting to happen, counselor. Pharma's got friends in high places." Ravi leaned in, tie straight as a blade. "Your Honor, so do the little people." When? September 15th. And keep it civil, no leaks. Leaks. As if. By midnight, anonymous drops hit Reddit's r/medicine and X. Redacted docs, timelines tying Vertex to rush jabs with unreported adverse events. The thread blew up. Holy shit, this is Watergate for white coats. Upvotes climbed, shares from blue-check docs and podcasters who thrived on controversy. Mark called the next day, voice edged with panic. "Liz? What's this lawsuit noise?" "Vertex is my employer." I cut in, voice steady as steel. "I know, Mark. About the data. The bonuses. Everything." Silence thick as fog. Then the spin. "Baby, it's not what you think. It was anonymized. For the greater good, saving lives with the vaccine." "Lives like mine? The one you threw away for a paycheck." I let the venom drip, slow. "See you in Discovery." He hung up. I didn't cry. I printed the call log, added it to the box. The backlash hit like a nor'easter. Trolls swarmed my profiles, before I nuked them, calling me anti-vaxxer, conspiracy bitch, pandemic profiteer. Carla texted, "Lay low. Board's gunning for you." But laying low was for the old me. I went live on an indie stream, face masked but eyes fierce. They called us essential until we weren't. Now they're stealing our stories to sell salvation. Who's really non-essential? Views spiked to 50K. Donations trickled in, GoFundMe for legal fees, crypto from libertarians who saw me as their Joan of Arc. But the real fuel was the doubt. Mandates rolling out, job losses for refusers, and whispers of long COVID, masking trial fuck-ups. September dawned with subpoenas flying like confetti at a funeral. Vertex lawyered up with sharks from Kirkland and Ellis, motions to dismiss stacking like cordwood. Mark's deposition was scheduled first, October 2nd, neutral ground in a Jersey conference room that smelled of stale ambition. I watched him arrive from across the street, trench coat flapping, face gaunt under the autumn sun. He spotted me, froze, then ducked inside. Ravi prepped me. "Stay cool. He's the weak link." The room was arctic, AC humming judgment. Mark sworn in, hands steady, but eyes darting. I facilitated data transfers. But with consent. Hospital policy. Consent. Ravi slid the email printout across. "Mark to Vertex exec, pushed 500 records your way. Expedited for the right price." Sweat beaded on his brow. Context. It was aggregate. Names, SSNs, diagnoses. Page 47, line 12. Ravi's voice was a whip. I sat silent, a statue of suppressed storm, watching him squirm. By hour 3, cracks spiderwebbed. "Carla approved it," he blurted. "Said it was for funding. And Liz. She had access. I borrowed her login once, twice. Emergency. Borrowed." The word ignited. I'd given him everything, keys, codes, trust, and he bartered it for Bitcoin. Ravi pounced. So Ms. Harper's credentials were used without permission in a scheme that violated federal law. Mark's mouth opened, closed. It was mutual. We were in it together." "Liar." The gallery gasped, reporters crammed in the back, notebooks itching. I met his eyes, saw the plea. "Don't destroy me." But the old Elizabeth was ash. This one was forge. Court adjourned with Mark's face ashen, whispers chasing him out. That night, my phone exploded. Tips from insiders, more docs. A Vertex whistleblower emailed. They're bearing adverse events. Cardiac spikes in trial group 3. Your data fed it.
Adverse events.
The secret gnawing at me, the why behind the rush, the bodies in the margins. Patients like Mrs. Delgado, my 62-year-old with hypertension, whose chart Mark had anonymized into a trial that fried her heart. I forwarded it to Ravi, then walked the bridge at midnight, East River churning black below. The city lights blurred, a constellation of complicity. Was this justice, or just my ego in a white hat? The dead don't ask, they act. October deepened the divide. Protests swelled, anti-mandate marches clashing with pro-vax enforcers, NYPD in riot gear herding the chaos. I spoke at one in Foley Square, megaphone heavy. They profited off our fear. Now, we demand truth. Cheers mixed with booze, a Molotov of middle fingers from counter-protesters. Traitor, one screamed, spit flecked. I didn't flinch. Controversy was currency. I'd spend it. Vertex countered hard. PR blitz, op-eds in the Post smearing me as disgruntled ex. Mark's new girl, blonde, bland, posted cryptic. Some people can't handle progress. Team science. I laughed. Bitter brew, then doxed nothing. Restraint was my edge. Halloween brought the twist. Carla called, voice shattered. Liz, it's bad. Board found out I talked. They're pinning it on me. Falsified approvals. Come over, I said. No hesitation. She arrived hollow-eyed, rain-slicked, clutching a USB. Everything. Emails, ledgers. Take them down. We huddled in my shoebox, screens glowing like campfires. The files painted a syndicate, hospital brass, Vertex VPs, even FDA liaisons whining and dining on kickbacks. Carla's role? Middleman, coerced by threats to her green card renewal. Why? I asked, though I knew. Family back home. Sick kid. They dangled the visa. Tears tracked her cheeks. I betrayed you for survival. Betrayal's a chain, I thought, links of desperation. You're in now. No out. She nodded, fierce. For you. For all of us. November elections loomed, the pseudo sideshow to the circus. But Voss's courtroom became Coliseum, experts testifying to data integrity breaches, plaintiffs' stories gut-punching, widows whose husbands' trials hid lethal doses. Mark's cross-exam was blood sport. Vertex's shark, a silver fox named Hargrove, grilled him. Mr. Ellis, isn't it true Ms. Harper knew of the transfers? Shared logins willingly. Mark swallowed, gaze sliding to me.
She.
Suspected. But we were partners. Partners in crime? Hargrove pressed.
No.
In life. His voice broke, a plea wrapped in perjury. The jury, blue-collar mix, masked and mistrustful, shifted, eyes narrowing. I took the stand next, voice amplified by autopsy clarity. He used me. We all were, pawns in a profit play.
Non-essential?
That's what they called the canaries when the mine caved. Gasps rippled. Hargrove objected. Speculation. Voss overruled. Gavel like thunder. Closing arguments hit December 1st, snow dusting the steps. Ravi. This isn't about one woman. It's the soul of a system, essential to all, or expendable to the elite. Hargrove. A witch hunt in a witching hour. Progress demands risk. Jury out till the 15th. I waited in limbo, the city buried under white, secrets festering like frostbite. Then the call. Anonymous, distorted. Harper? Drop it. Or your little nurse friend gets deported. Permanently. Threats. The game turned ugly. But I danced with death once. This? Child's play. December's chill seeped into my bones, but it was the voice on the line that froze my blood. You think you're a hero? You're a glitch. Fix it, or Carla's kid starves in Juarez.
Click.
No trace, burner to burner. I paced my shoebox, snow tapping the window like impatient fingers. Threats were escalation. Vertex cornered, claws out. Ravi wanted cops, but I waved him off. Paper trail only. We bait them. We looped the call through a recorder, filed it as Exhibit C. But inside, the old wounds wept. Betrayal wasn't just Mark's. It was the system's sneer, calling dreamers like me disposable until we dared demand more. Carla holed up with me, her green card a ghost in her wallet. I never meant, she started nightly ritual. Save it. Not cruel, just clear. We'd bonded in the bunker, two women weaponizing whispers. She cooked pozole from cans, spice cutting the cold. I taught her VPN tricks, digital camouflage. Sisters in the storm. The jury deliberated through blizzards, leaks sprouting like weeds. Deadlocked on intent. Pundits feasted, CNN calling it pandemic payback, Fox vaccine vendetta. My face plastered everywhere. Elizabeth Harper. Villain or vindicator. Protests ping-ponged outside the courthouse. Lock her up versus free the data. Barricades buckling under boots. Mark reached out via email. Block number subject. Truth. Liz, meet me. Coffee shop on 4th, alone. For old times. Old times. Lazy Sundays, his head on my lap. Dreams of a house upstate. Lies. All laced with larceny. I went, wired under my coat, snow crunching like brittle trust. The shop was a time capsule, exposed brick, jazz humming low. He sat in the corner, thinner, eyes hollowed by hauntings. You look good, he said, stirring sugar he wouldn't drink. Fighting the good fight. Cut the charm. I slid into the booth, voice low. What do you want? Forgiveness? A deal? He leaned in, cologne faded. Vertex is offering settlement. 7 figures. Walk away, we both win.
Win.
The word curdled. You sold my soul for 6. Now it's priceless. His laugh was hollow. It was business. The virus. It changed everything. We were saving the world. Saving your ass. I pulled the recorder, hit play, his depot lies, the bonus brags. This goes to Voss if you twitch. Panic flickered. Liz, please. They're ruining me. No job, no girl. Hell, my credits tanked. Victim act, Oscar-worthy. But then, the mask slipped. You think you're clean? That login? Your prints are all over it.
Bluff.
Or was it? In the rush of love, I'd shared more than codes, blind trust, the original sin. I loved you, he whispered, hand reaching. I jerked back, the touch electric with echo. Past tense suits you. I stood, bell jingling like judgment. Outside, flashbulbs popped, paps, scenting blood. The leak hit that night. Plaintiff in secret meet with ex-fiancé, collusion? Ex erupted, death threats demanding like digital darts. Traitor whore. Karma's coming. I deleted, blocked, but the poison spread. Ravi called at 2 a.m. Jury's influenced. We need a Hail Mary. Hail Mary. The whistleblowers drop. Group 3 trials. Heart failures spiking 300%, buried in statistical noise. Tied to my data pool. We amended the complaint Christmas Eve. Voss's chambers lit like a war room. Merry fucking holidays, he grumbled, signing. This better not be stunt.
Not a stunt, I said.
A reckoning. Vertex's response? Nuclear. January 6th. Echoes of the Capitol riot still fresh. Their lobbyists flooded Albany, pushing bills to shield emergency data shares. Hargrove moved for mistrial, tainted by media circus. Voss denied, gavel cracking like ice. Trial resumed February, courtroom a powder keg. New witness, FDA insider, poached by Ravi, testifying under immunity. Vertex knew the risks. Pushed anyway. Profits over pulses.
Gasps.
Hargrove objected. Hearsay.
Sustained but damage done.
Jury eyes hardened, the everyman jury smelling the rot. Carla's turn gutted me. She took the stand in a borrowed blazer, voice steady as she unpacked the coercion. They threaten my family. I signed what they slid. But Elizabeth? She was the ethical one. Always. Hargrove Cross. So, you admit falsifying for personal gain? Yes. Simple, shattering. But so did you, all of you. The gallery murmured, a wave of what-ifs. Outside, snow turned to slush, mirroring the moral mire. Then, the call came mid-recess. Same voice. Last warning. Drop or she's gone.
Click.
I bolted to Carla, found her pale on the courthouse steps. Liz? I got a letter. Deportation hold. We traced it, vertex strings to IC, a favor called in. Fight. I urged, but fear etched her face. That night, she vanished text. Protecting you. Go home to Mexico. Love.
Gone.
The chain snapped, leaving me adrift. Betrayal's echo. But this one's self-inflicted? No, systemic, the beast devouring its own. Ravi found me in a dive bar, shots lined up like soldiers. We can't stop.
We.
I slammed the glass. She's collateral. Because of me. Because of them. His hand on my shoulder, firm. Finish it. March stormed in, mandates peaking, vax passports for work, bars, life. Protests turned primal, unmasked masses clashing with shields. I marched incognito, hood up, chanting my body, my data. A bottle sailed, grazed my temple, blood warm, reminder. Controversy cuts both ways. Court climaxed April 1st, April Fools, fitting. Closing. Ravi wove the web. Mark's greed, Carla's duress, Vertex's vaulting ambition. They called her non-essential. Today, we call them accountable. Hargrove's rebuttal. Fear-mongering in a fragile time. Heroes, not villains. Jury out till the 10th. I waited in purgatory, the city thawing into tentative spring. Tips poured, more insiders, Vertex execs jumping ship. But the threat lingered, a shadow with teeth. Then, twist, Mark's email, attachment heavy. Proof. For you. Videos, him in Vertex boardroom, mic hot. Harper's got us by the balls. Pay, or play dead. Admissions, recorded rogue. Redemption, or rat out. I forwarded to Ravi, anonymous. The jury got it anon, Voss allowing. New evidence. Deliberation stretched, tension taut as piano wire. April 9th, verdict read. Liable on all counts.
Dommage, $5 base, plus injonction.
And the kicker, non-compliance fines, $3 million per hour. Clock starting at dawn. The courtroom erupted, cheers, jeers. Gavel drowned in din. I stood numb, Voss's eyes meeting mine. Justice served, Miss Harper. Don't let it consume you. Outside, cameras swarmed, snowmelt mixing with tears I hadn't planned. Victory, Pyrrhic and pure. But Carla? Vanished into the ether. A ghost-eyed failed. Vertex appealed instantly, but the clock ticked. $3 million per hour. A hemorrhaging headline. Stocks tanked, execs scattered.
Mark?
Last seen boarding a flight to Dubai. Extradition be damned. I walked home alone, Brooklyn blooming defiant. Revenge tasted like rain, cleansing but cold. The dead had risen. Now what? Victory's afterglow faded faster than cheap champagne, leaving a hangover of Hollow's April 2021. Wait, no. The reset blurred timelines, but the world spun on, mandates morphing into norms, the suit a scar on the news cycle. Vertex hemorrhaged, $216 million in first week, boardrooms bleeding resignations. Headlines screamed, non-essential no more, nurses' revenge racks up pharma billions. But fame's a fickle fucker. My inbox overflowed, praise from podcasters, you're a patriot, pitchforks from purists, backstenier scum. Protests evolved, my face on placards, Harper's Law, chants echoing in Albany. Ravi pushed legislation, data shields for essentials, transparency in trials. I testified, voice raw. We weren't pawns. We were the board. Yet nights clawed me awake, ghosts parading. Mrs. Delgado's smile, Carla's laugh over Pozole. Where was she? I silence. Family in Mexico ghosting calls. Guilt gnawed. Had my war exiled her? Mark's trail went cold in the UAE, but whispers followed. Holed up in a Sharjah villa. Lawyered to the hilt. I could have hunted private dicks, dark web bounties, but what then? A confrontation in the desert, his pleas echoing mine?
No.
He'd self-destruct. I had bigger beasts. The real reckoning brewed in the shadows. May brought the appeal hearing, Voss presiding again, chamber packed with suits sweating silk. Hargrove, diminished, argued. Undue prejudice. Media taint. Ravi countered. Prejudice? Try precedent. Watergate had tapes. This has terabytes. Voss leaned forward, bifocals glinting. Appeal denied.
Fina stand.
Next frivolous motion, I triple him. The gallery exploded, Vertex reps bolting like rats from a blaze. Outside, a counter-protest swelled. Pharma shills and lab coats signs. Innovation under attack. Clashes erupted, pepper spray stinging air. I slipped away, hood up, the chaos a mirror to my mess. Home. Upgraded now, a one-bed in Crown Heights, funded by settlements trickling in, felt like a cage. I paced, box of evidence, mocking from the shelf. Victory, but at what cost? The old Elizabeth dreamed of scrubs and stability. This one? A crusader, crown heavy with thorns. Then the package, no return, postmarked Mexico City. Inside, a thumb drive, handwritten note in Carla's script. Found safety. Kids better. Use this. For us. See. Files unloaded. Vertex's black book. Offshore accounts. Politician payoffs. Trial fudges extending to boosters. The Holy Grail. Proof of intentional underreporting. Deaths pinned on comorbidities to grease EUA approvals. I called Ravi at dawn. We go nuclear. June's heat wave amplified the inferno. We filed amended claims, wrongful death suits for a dozen plaintiffs, class ballooning to thousands. Media frenzy, 60-minute segment me in shadows. They gambled lives for stock ticks. Time to fold. Viewership spiked, but so did the hits. My door buzzer fried, pranks or probes. A car tailed me to the bodega, vanishing in traffic. Paranoia? Or playbook? The threat voice returned, July 4th, irony thick. Harper. Fireworks over? Or just starting? Back off or boom. I traced it this time. Ravi's tech guy, a hacker kid with Cheeto fingers. Dubai relay. Your ex's signature. Mark. The architect striking from Sands. I booked a flight. Impulse, ID, the dead demanding due. Dubai was a mirage of excess. Burj vistas, malls like labyrinths of lust. I found him in a souk cafe, unshaven, nursing mint tea like medicine. Liz. No surprise, just surrender. You came. Closure. We sat under palms, heat shimmering deceit. The calls?
Petty.
Desperation. He shrugged, eyes tracing old paths. Lost everything. You? Found myself. Truth tangled. Carla safe. Thanks to your fuck-ups. Relief ghosted his face. Good.
She was.
Collateral. Pause, heavy. I loved you once. Still do in a twisted way. Twist this. I slid the drive across, his boardroom tape, enhanced audio. Testify. Or rot. He stared, then laughed, broken real. Blackmail? From the saint. Justice. Line blurred, but I held it. Help, or the fines follow you forever. He nodded, slow.
Deal.
Back stateside, Mark flipped. Affidavit dropping bombs, insider trades, coerced silences. August appeal crushed Vertex further. Bankruptcy loomed, assets frozen. Fines hit $1 billion, headlines howling. Hourly hell, pharma's price for pandemic plays. But controversy crested. Congress grilled execs, my name synonymous with schism. Heroes hailed me, haters hunted. A rally in D.C. turned riot. My speech interrupted by flashbangs. Blood on the steps not mine but close. Enough. I screamed into the mic, live. This isn't left or right. It's right or wrong. Clips viralized, memes of my glare. Essential Elizabeth. Donations surged, but so did doubt. Late-night scrolls, forums questioning my motives, grifting off grief. A deepfake surfaced, me admitting payoffs. Vertex's dying gasp. September brought the twist that twisted me. Ravi called, voice grave. Anonymous tip. Your original death. Pills? Not suicide. What? Heart stuttered. Coroner's re-exam. Traces of scopolamine. Truth serum shit. Someone dosed you, Liz. To make it look self-inflicted. The room spun. Betrayal's abyss deepened. Not despair's end, but murder's mercy. Who? Mark, cornered? Carla, coerced? Or higher? Vertex cleaners, tying loose ends? I confronted Mark in a safe house, feds watching. The OD. You? He paled.
God, no. But.
I suspected. Told them, hospital security, about your stress. They handled it. Handled. The word ignited apocalypse. Admin goons, pharma puppets, erasing the whistle early. Rage rebuilt me. October, we sued anew. Homicide by negligence, conspiracy to silence. Evidence? The drive, Mark's regrets. Carla's exile as proof of reach. Court was carnage. Voss, this court's no morgue, but damn if it ain't haunted. Plaintiffs swelled. Families of suicides. Nurses retired rough. Hargrove, haggard. Speculation. Ravi. Patterns don't lie. Jury, new faces. Wearier, deliberated November. Thanksgiving turkey turning to ash in my fridge. Verdict. Guilty. Verdicts plural. Manslaughter counts. Fines compounding to $5 billion. Vertex folded. Assets liquidated for victims' funds. Outside, snow again but cheers warmer. I hugged Mark. Awkward. Absolution's edge. Go live clean. You too. His smile. Genuine ghost. But the real hook. Carla's return, December 20th. Airport reunion. Her kid. A boy, wide-eyed, clutching a toy stethoscope. Harper law passed, she said, hugging fierce. Data's ours now.
Ours.
The chain broken. Yet, as fireworks popped New Year's, I stood on my stoop, city alive. Revenge sated, but the void whispered. Was it worth the war? The dead me smiled. Every scar. January 2022 dawned crisp, the kind of cold that cracks concrete and consciences alike. Harper versus Vertex wasn't just a case anymore. It was legend, etched in legalese and late-night monologues. Fines capped at $10 billion after settlements, funneled into trusts, widows' funds, nurse retraining, transparency tech for trials. My cut? Modest. Enough for a brownstone in Bed-Stuy, walls lined with case files turned coffee table tomes. The Essential Reckoning by E. Harper, ghost-written but soul-sold. Life post-verdict was a tightrope. TED Talks by day, reclaiming the narrative. Nightmares by night. Pills dissolving on tongues not mine. Ravi partnered up. PLLC, Harper and Singh, pro bono for the silenced. We took on big AG data grabs, AI surveillance suits, the endless war on the overlooked. Mark? Vanished into witness protection. Last postcard from Montana. Ranch life suits the reformed. Forgive yourself. I burned it. Ashes to wind. Forgiveness was a luxury. Forgetting a lie. Carla thrived. RN again. Green card greased by congressional nods. Her kid, Miguel, called me Tia Liz, drawing capes on stick-figure nurses. Sundays, posal potlucks, laughter loud enough to drown ghosts. Family, forged in fire. But controversy clung like smoke. Spring brought backlash waves. Pharma lobbies funding anti-Harper docs, how one woman delayed vaccines, costing lives. Protests at my door, fewer now but fervent. Blood on your hands. I faced them once, May Day, Stupa stage. Delay? We exposed lies. Lives saved? Count, the cover-ups cracked. Claps sparse, but seed sown. Polls shifted. 52% back data writes, my name a notch. The deeper twist unraveled summer, Heat lightning in July. Anonymous envelope. Hospital badge. Faded. Security guard. Name redacted. Inside. Log from my suicide night. 2 a.m. entry. Subject Harper E. Assisted exit per admin directive. Assisted. The word weaponized. Ravi Doug. The guard. Ex-cop. Pension pulled for excessive force priors. Hired post-furloughs. Tasked with morale management. His trail. Dead end. Literal. Car wreck. Brakes failed. June 21. Conspiracies Hydra. Heads off more sprout. We sued the hospital anew. Board deposed in sweat-soaked sessions. Carla ID'd the voice. That prick, O'Malley, security chief. He leaned on me too. O'Malley cracked under oath. August scorcher. Orders from the top. Vertex whispered. Board nodded. Harper was
Noisy.
early complaints, forum posts. Had to quiet her. Quiet. The pills, dosed in my tea during a wellness check visit he'd logged as routine. Scopolamine to blur. Opioids to end. Mercy killing, corporate style. The courtroom that fall was Valhalla. O'Malley in cuffs, board execs pleading fifth. Voss, retiring soon, presided with relish. This ain't medicine, it's murder. Verdict. October 31st, Halloween haunting. Guilty across, manslaughter, conspiracy, racketeering. Sentences stacked. O'Malley 20 to life. Execs bar-clad in whites. Hospital restructured. My name on the ethics charter. Outside, autumn leaves swirled like confetti from hell. Reporters mobbed. Miss Harper, any regrets? Only that it took a death to wake us. Flashbulbs popped, my face forward. Winter wrapped the wounds. Miguel's birthday, 8, gap-toothed grin, balloons and bad cake. Carla raised a toast to Sakan's chances. I clinked, throat tight. Second chance. Mine, stolen back from the grave. But the cost? A web of what-ifs. Lives derailed. Trusts fractured. Mark's silence. Carla's scars. New Year's Eve, rooftop party. City sprawl glittering below. Fireworks preluding the hour. Ravi sidled up, scotch in hand. What's next, boss? Senate run. I laughed. Champagne fizzing.
Nah. Teaching.
Nursing school adjunct. Real heroes need tools. He nodded, wise. The fight finds you.
It did.
Spring 2023. Fresh suit. AI health apps, slurping data sans consent. But this time, I led with allies, unions, ethicists, even pharma reformers seeing light. The mirror showed scars, but eyes alive. Elizabeth Harper, essential eternal. They'd called me non-essential once, a footnote in their frenzy.
Now?
I was the fine, ticking up truths they could now pay. As the clock struck midnight that first reset night, I'd vowed. Burn it down. But in the blaze, I'd rebuilt, not just me, but us. The betrayed, the buried, rising hourly. And in the quiet dawn, with Miguel's crayon drawing taped to my fridge, a nurse with cape, saving the day, I whispered to the ghost. We won. But winning? It wasn't the end. It was the every hour after.